Well, good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight, the OUTshine Film Festival edition. This special broadcast is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival, April 20 to the 30th of 2023. We are doing a world-exclusive first announcement of this amazing festival, its films, its events, its parties, and a lot more of the 2023 festival, celebrating the uniqueness of our LGBTQ+ community and the love, passion, and emotion of queer film. All next on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Well, this is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, and we're broadcasting live, and then we're on demand, and we're available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple Television, Android TV, Amazon Fire, YouTube, and Facebook. And it's time to queer up the news, and we are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are telling in this special edition of Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson, and this special show celebrates the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival. It is brought to you by Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network, a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbian, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, political advocacy, and faith. Help us support our community. We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ media companies in America, and Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network is a leader in this field. Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television shows, news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ community and broader community. We are breaking news this evening with the details of the films, events, and parties for this year's OUTshine Film Festival, one of the most important LGBTQ film festivals in the world. We have asked some of our special anchors tonight to help us in the announcement of this program and to discuss what you should know about it. So let's go. Let's begin with Mark Gilbert. Mark is a well-known media personality in South Florida's community and is the board chairman and interim executive director of the OUTshine Film Festival. Next, let's welcome Joe Bilancio. He is the creative vision behind the this year's film selections as OUTshine Film Festival's program director. Next, let's welcome Amy McGrotty. She has a special eye for the women's perspective of the OUTshine Film Festival, and she serves as the festival's secretary. And last but not least, let's welcome Michael Schneider, a longtime business leader here in South Florida's LGBTQ+ community. He serves on the board of the OUTshine Film Festival. Well, welcome everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody excited?
Very.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to tell you so much in our announcement of how the festival is launching. So here we go. This exclusive announcement of the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival. All right, well, let's begin here. This year, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival, they have a luxurious new home, Silver Spot Cinema, located just around the corner at Southeast 3rd Avenue and 3rd Street in downtown Miami. Silver Spot Cinema is a sophisticated movie theater for the true film, food, and fun lover. Sounds great. Featuring 17 theaters with over 1,400 stadium seats, they offer an enhanced entertainment experience with superior staff to show LGBTQ films and make the experience perfect. Delight yourself before, during, and after the OUTshine films with the chef-inspired menu of freshly made foods. And to top it all off, you can choose from an assortment of craft beers, signature cocktails, and wines to pair with your LGBTQ movie. Many of the OUTshine film events will include special parties, food, and beverages. And for true LGBTQ plus film lovers, Silver Spot brings you fully reclining plush seats, in-theater premium service, Barco high-contrast laser projection to entertain in the most vivid of colors, and Dolby Cinema sound to experience an unparalleled sound experience. All sounds amazing. Silver Spot Cinema is the perfect new home of OUTshine Film Festival 25. My goodness, how did y'all land here? That just sounds fantastic to me.
Well, it's been a long journey. In fact, it's been an exciting journey. 25 years, thousands of movies, tens of thousands of our LGBT community brothers and sisters coming through our doors. So much fun, so much education, so much allowing us to feel better about ourselves. And then, of course, you were just talking about now being at Silver Spot. That just makes it a whole new experience to celebrate 25.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful space. I'm glad you did that intro because it really is excitement. It's taking where we've been to a whole new level, and it's just delightful. They love us. We did an event there the other day, and they just were so happy that we're there and so happy to be sharing their space with the community, and we're excited to do the same.
You know, it struck me when we learned that y'all were bringing the festival to downtown Miami. Parking's always an issue, but one of the great things here is all you have to do is go to OUTshinefilm.com, and all of the arrangements can be done. You can read all of the details of that.
We have special parking worked out for everyone.
Yeah, special parking for the festival, so no problem in getting in downtown Miami for the event. But I haven't been there. Give me kind of a thumbnail in terms of what the theater experience is like.
Well, like I said, it's elevated from where we've been, and we don't mean to disparage the beach, but unfortunately our venue is gone. It's it's not in existence. It wasn't an option for us, and being able to sort of pivot at the last minute and get a space like this, we were just so excited. From the minute you walk in, it's bright, shiny, and the staff, again, you can tell that they really want us to be there and that they're enjoying what they do. So it's just the ability for us to sort of be in that kind of a space that just fits us is really remarkable.
And I guess last thought to this, with the exception of the rooftop cinema event, everything is here at this theater. So we won't mention the theater over and over and over again because the entire festival is in the theater, and it fits LGBT. It seems perfect. Food. The bar service, multiple floors, high quality sound and visual. I love the reclining seats. So it sounds like a great way.
Al, we actually chose the cinema. We actually chose Silver Spot while Rigo was still open because we wanted to give our audience a new place, a new home, and Silver Spot was the answer. We walked in that place and said, this is it. Yeah. This is special.
It is great. All right. Well, the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival begins with the opening night party and film. It's on Thursday, April 20th at 7 p.m. The film is called Fairyland. It captures the complexities, embarrassment, and pride that are part of a father-daughter relationship, especially in San Francisco in the 1970s and 80s. With its indelible legacy of loss and love, food is available, followed by an open bar with amazing desserts in the OUTshine Lounge. So the opening party, tell me about that. Joe, this film selection, Fairyland, tell me about that.
Oh, Fairyland is fabulous. Sundance hit. Gina Davis, Scoot McNairy, Amelia Jones, who was just in Coda. And as you said, it's set in the 70s, and we all know the 70s in San Francisco were a little wild and a little sad, but this is somewhere in between. It's just a beautiful film. Relationship between a father and a daughter, and it's beautiful. I can't find many words to say other than beautiful.
Joe, I'm curious, as program director, when you go through, I know Dino's actively involved and you have an entire committee on film selection. How many films for the OUTshine Film Festival do you all look at in a season?
It'll be about 600. That's shorts, features, documentaries, and it's
600.
Yeah. And luckily we have, as you said, a great help. Dino does part of the work, and it really is a yeoman's work, and we divide it up, and when we conquer.
So this film Fairyland makes it to the opening. That's really, really important because it sets the footprint for the entire 2 weeks of the festival. We can announce to you that you'll be able to watch a big portion of the event, not the film, but of the event live, because Queer News Tonight is going to be broadcasting at the opening night film festival. We'll do the news, and then we'll do some fun stuff too. The news isn't necessarily fun these days, but we'll do fun. Amy, Michael, your reaction on opening night. What is, tell me, if somebody hasn't been to opening night, what's it all about?
Well, before the opening night film, we have generally an acknowledgement of our supporters, the producer circle members. We throw a little thing for them, and then we go into a lot of trailers, a lot of thanking of the people that helped to put the festival together. Mark keeps it very light, and he does a great job with Jen on stage. And anyway, there's a lot of information that we give before we actually started watching the film. And then it sounds like this year's film is going to be upbeat and fun to go into the party that will follow. And then, just a lot of socializing opportunities, and music
and so you watch the film, and then after the film, explain to me how the party works. Somebody explain to me.
It's one before and after.
Party before,
plural.
I was going to say we are LGBT after all. Okay, I get it. The party afterwards, people coming out of the film. I went to the opening night last year, and I went to opening night. The one with the Russian pilots, I can't remember.
Yeah, Firebird.
Firebird. What an amazing evening that was. And so tell me about the party, the opening party.
So I'm glad you said Firebird, because that was a great night. Of course, the talent came in for the night, and they were adorable. And who doesn't like beautiful gay men coming to, or playing actors coming to your opening night film? But this year we're really shaking it up. We're doing something entirely brand new for 25. We're doing dinner at your seats. And that's a new concept. So you're going to come to the theater first, and you're going to have dinner. There'll be a bar outside, so you can come early. Yes.
You're going to the opening night film, and dinner's included, and
you
at
bet.
Your seat?
You bet. Breaking it here. Nobody knows
a dull
that
moment
yet.
with us.
Yeah.
Breaking it here. So you come early, you have some drinks. Somebody told me that gay people like to drink before a movie.
You know what's going to happen? We're the people at Outfest are going to see this, and they're going to go, "What?"
Yep.
We always like to think of ourselves as a model. We create new ideas every festival, but this is really different. This is a brand new idea. So you'll come in, first you go to have some drinks, then come into the theater. Your dinner will be ordered, and we're not talking about burgers. We're talking about salmon, skirt steak, and a few other things. That it's really going to be a special experience. And then we'll go into the movie. Like Michael said, we have a really fun program that we open up with, and you'll get to see trailers for the festival. So opening night is a spectacular way to start off the festival. And I think what I love most about it is the people that are there. You get to meet like so many new people. Everyone's in a great mood because, one, they've been drinking. So, we all loved that. But it works out really well.
As you were giving that description, I just made a notation to go right now to OUTshineFilm.com because I know those tickets are going to sell out. First announcement right now. All right, next up. It's Friday, April 21st, and it's the big first night launch for the OUTshine Film Festival. 4 films are going to be included on that Friday night at 7 p.m. It's only Life After All at 7:30 p.m. Since Last Time We Met, and that's going to be a world premiere, Since Last Time We Met. Then at 9:15, The Latent Image, and that is going to be a North American premiere. And then finally at 9:30, Burning Days. Tell us, an audience, what we're going to expect for the Friday night launch of the festival.
Well, every night is my favorite, but this is really my favorite. Can I say that? and it's only
This
like
is your favorite night of all the nights of the festival.
well, there's so many. I'll probably say that when we get to Saturday and Tuesday, but this is definitely one of my favorites, and because it's so different. There's a variety. There's a documentary. You mentioned It's Only Life After All, which we've subtitled as the Indigo Girls documentary, because people may not know unless they're familiar with the title of one of their hit songs. But it really does tell the story of the Indigo Girls and all they've gone through to get to where they are in their support of the gay and lesbian community. Since last time you met, it is a premiere. Two guys sort of meet on the street after 15 years of having some kind of a relationship, and then we learn through their dialogue as to what had went on and what transpired and what continues to transpire. And the director will be in town as well, so it's always nice to have Q&As with directors of the films. You sort of get an idea of what they were thinking and can ask some great questions. Burning Day is really an intriguing story of, and I call it gay light. It's certainly gay, but it's much more one of the main characters is questioning, and it relates to sort of how he interacts with everybody he comes in contact with. An amazing film, but again, what I really like is the fact that it's just such a variety of.
And your favorite for the Friday night, being your favorite night of the festival so far. By the way, this is just the first night of the festival, and it's already your favorite night of the festival.
By the way, we have an announcement that we can't make yet, but we might have a surprise for you. Of those 4 movies, some major talent just might make an appearance at our festival.
Oh, excellent.
That's all I'm going to say.
I'm curious to the festival itself. First big night, and the festival is going on over 2 weekends, and the week in between the 2 bookends. Do most people that come to the festival do they come a single night? Do they come 2 nights? Do they come night after night? What normally happens at the festival?
I think it's a little of both.
I think it's a little something. You know, we ask a lot of times, how many of you are you here for the first time? How many are here for the first time? And it's surprising that we get a lot of hands go up. Yeah. And then we say, how many have seen 4 and 5 and 6 movies during the festival? We have people that see, I think, as many as 10, 12 movies during the festival.
Yeah, the thing we keep in mind is that it might be the first and it might be the only experience. So we as staff try and make sure that that experience is as great as it can be. We don't, towards the end of the festival, we're as happy to see people as we are the first day of the festival. So, to us, it's really important.
All right. Well, we have a lot of films to get through in this breaking news of the announcement for OUTshine's 25th anniversary. Now it's Saturday, April 22nd, and we are going to focus on 7 feature films. They are going to begin Saturday afternoon at 2:45 in the afternoon, and that is Esther Newton's Made Me Gay. I love that title. At 3 o'clock, Little Richard, I Am Everything. At 4:45, Commitment to Life, and that is going to be the Southeast premiere of that film at OUTshine Film Festival. Then at 5 o'clock, Golden Delicious. Can't wait to hear what that's about. And at 7:15, Blue Jean, and at 9:15, Easy Tiger. And then at 9:30, Winter Boy. Big day on that Saturday. And I just have to say right off the bat, I'm a gay man after all, so I'm all about Great Balls of Fire. What can we look forward to for Saturday, April 22nd?
It's a great day. It's again,
something for everyone, right?
There is something for everyone, and that's, as a programming director, that's what I always say, is that not everything will be for everybody, but there is something for everyone. It's documentaries, it's youth-oriented.
How many total films are in the festival?
There's 82 with features, documentaries, and shorts.
Wow, it's amazing. 82 films.
And it's for us, it's very important, and this is a sort of a great day to really talk about the diversity, because there's such a diversity in the lineup in, what we're presenting, the genres, and for us, that's really what it's about, is trying to reach out to all of our various communities.
Anyone else? I make the joke about Great Balls of Fire, but did you get that joke, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, did you?
I didn't.
Right. That's the
What do you think?
Right.
It was the interpretation part that I think I
Little
missed.
Richard, is that going to be one of the big focuses of the evening?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting story, because documentaries I love because either people who know a lot about the person just want to see if they know everything they think they know, and then there's people who sort of like, I know who Little Richard is, but I'd love to learn more about him.
gosh, there are
Yes,
people that
there are
don't know
people
who
who
Little
don't.
Richard is.
And I think a lot of that is age. I really do think
Did you
that
call me old?
I didn't. Not that I wouldn't, but I didn't.
All right.
And it's just, we have these conversations with staff because we have staffs of various ages of like, oh, do you know who, and Little Richard was one. And somebody said, yeah, I think that was a musician. And I'm like, okay, we'll leave it at that. But I said that's the person who probably had more influence on music that you now listen to than you even know.
I've told Joe before, sometimes I find documentaries, they are not regularly my favorite. We have had some of the most surprisingly amazing documentaries that I walk in and I'll sit down, I have no idea what it's about, and I'm absolutely fascinated by the story.
It's one thing to know, who he is, but you might have a specific impression, coming, later into his career than, what really started it off. And, so watching something like that can really inform you.
Yeah. Well, big day on Saturday, and Saturday even gets bigger. Up next, it's Saturday, April 22nd, and we focus on the second major event of the OUTshine Film Festival, and that's, of course, the Men's Spotlight Film and Party. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m., and it is the film Drifter. The film looks beneath the seductive surface of a night between the culture of being gay that knows no bounds and its short-lived interactions. I hear the word trick in my head, but I'm not sure if that's true. Revealing that actual people are more important than celebrating the cliche of what they represent. The Men's Spotlight film is Saturday, April 22nd, and it will feature light bites, open bar, and more at the theater. So Drifter, tell us a bit.
Oh, fantastic. And some of the pictures might have been on the little more salacious side, and there is a portion of that, but it really is a film about learning who you are, discovering who you are, and going for it. And for me, that was beautiful. And I can say that we'll be doing the North American premiere of that film. It did its world premiere in Berlin, and then it did another premiere at Flair in London, and so we'll be doing the North American premiere. And it's one of those films that I think has a lot of layers to it. You can just, go and sort of let it wash over you and say, oh, that was nice, or really kind of get involved and, as I say, unpeel the layers.
Mark, I want to ask you, it's interesting to me, the film festival, OUTshine Film Festival, has a men's spotlight. We're going to talk about women's spotlight in a minute, but in very gay South Florida, why do we need to have a spotlight film for men?
It's that one film, that one Saturday night film that we all come together to watch. It's kind of that broad appeal film that will, this is a movie that you can bring your straight friends to, and you should, because it takes place in Berlin. Berlin, the sexiest city in the world, right? All about sex. And this movie, while sex is an element of the movie, happens to be probably my favorite film of the festival. I was really blown away by it. This is that film that all the boys will come and the men will love to look at the younger people in the film. The context, the story, a blow-away film that everyone's going to love, and a perfect film to come and drink and party with afterward.
Yeah,
and some of the films sell out completely.
Oh yeah,
hopefully that will be one of those.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because we do as a staff spend so much time trying not to segment. I mean, obviously we have niches that we certainly want to fulfill, and there are films that fill those needs, but we do such a good job of trying to be all inclusive that this and the Women's Spotlight is sort of the one time to sort of to segment. I don't mean that negatively, but as much as to celebrate those individual parts of the community.
Well, we focus on Men's Spotlight, but multiple opportunities through the festival. We don't forget about the women. We finish the first weekend on Sunday, April 23rd, and that brings us to the very special, and I love this title, Where the Girls Are, Ladies Shorts Program. And starting at 2 o'clock, you get to see 6 short films in this category, and the entire runtime is 97 minutes. So you're seeing 6 short films in 97 minutes, which I think is just awesome, including Sally Leapt Out a Window last night, Women Meets Girl, The End, Little Mouse, Wake Up, and Requiem. Those are the 6 films. This special program focuses on the importance of women in our community and their special stories. OUTshine invites ladies, and really everyone that comes, for those films to come together for happy hour on this Sunday after the shorts at the Silver Spot on their 5th floor lounge. What are we looking forward to for the women's shorts?
Yeah, I love the women's shorts. The shorts programs in general, and I always say, you know, if you don't like it, wait 10 minutes, you'll get another one. I'd prefer to say you will like it and be sad that it's over in 10 minutes. But the shorts program, it's always a mix of genres. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get the t-shirt, and it really is a special. And I always appreciate that because it gives us an opportunity to reach the girls specifically. Men do come, yes, but we try and again say that this is specifically for the ladies.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, Joe, that there are filmmakers that focus on a 10, 15, 17-minute format. In your years of working as program director at OUTshine, have you noticed the differences of the commitment of filmmakers and actors participating in short form versus long form?
Yeah, it's the same thing we're seeing, I think, in traditional movie cinema going to TV. We're starting to see filmmakers who would typically stay away from short films making short films. We see short films as sort of calling cards, we call them, towards making features. They aren't really into making the short, but they know that that will help them get money to make their features. And so those are still existing and probably existing more and more. But for me, it's such a great art form. You have a short amount of time to tell a really succinct yet well thought out story. And these certainly do that. Requiem in the women's program seems to me almost like it's a pilot for an HBO or Showtime series. It's just elegant, it's beautiful, it's well shot, it's well acted, and it just has that feel to it. So I'm really fascinated.
Think about that, Al. I just want to say this. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end told in 15 minutes instead of an hour and a half.
I know.
Amy, you were saying to me earlier that the shorts are your favorite part of the festival.
Yeah, always have been, yeah. But that's
why
what I
is
love
that?
about the festival, too, is that you have these options, and your least favorite generally has been documentaries, and those have always been one of my favorites,
that's
too.
my
So I love shorts and documentaries. The feature films, they can miss the mark for me a lot. No pun intended.
Missed the mark. Yeah. So in the shorts program, we've just finished National Women's History Month, or right at the end of Women's History Month. What kind of role do you see women in a film festival? I imagine, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but an LGBTQ plus film festival like OUTshine Film Festival, is it difficult to keep the women's point of view front and center of saying, let's make sure we keep women there? Is that difficult? You sit on the board, you're secretary. Or is it just something, no, we're going to do
For me, a little bit. Sometimes I feel like a gay man more than a lesbian. You know what I mean? So I don't understand, why is it so difficult to come out? And
Yeah.
we're going to this is an opportunity. I live in Fort Lauderdale. This is an opportunity for Deborah and I to get a room in Miami for 10 days, a little staycation.
You're going to stay in Miami for 10 days?
Yeah.
Wow, you're going to stay downtown?
Yep.
That
We're going
is-
to eat on Brickell and go to the thing, and I'll be there to help, whatever you guys need,
It really is an opportunity for the Fort Lauderdale people to go down. I mean, it's a reason to go down and spend time. We forget that we have these amazing places. It's 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
In fact, the fact that it's downtown Miami, it's even closer than South Beach for us to go down.
Yeah.
And maybe the people that are in Fort Lauderdale don't go down maybe but a few times or maybe 4 times during the festival, but still, it's just a really nice thing to remember and experience everything that has to offer.
And it's close.
And it's so different
That's
than
awesome.
Fort Lauderdale.
I'm sitting here processing in my head, going down and staying in a hotel for 10 days.
Come on down.
Awesome, right? All right, well, next. The feature films on Sunday, April 23rd are quite incredible. It all starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It closes the first big weekend of the OUTshine Film Festival, and it begins at 1 p.m. with the Southeast premiere of Big Boys. Next at 2:30 is Queendom. No, it's queendom, I remember.
They're the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, they are the same thing. I know, Mark Gilbert. And at 5:45, Wolf and Dog, and that's going to be the North American premiere. Then at 7:30 p.m., In Bed, and that's going to be also a North American premiere at the OUTshine Film Festival. At 7:45 p.m., Mutt, and then at 9:30 p.m., The Damned Don't Cry. How can you go wrong on a Sunday in a single day when you have Big Boys, Queendom all on the same day? I'm just saying.
You can't. You can't.
Hold on, Amy. Amy insisted that we have something special for the women on Sunday as well.
Oh, and what is that?
Oh, was that the happy hour?
Our cocktail
day?
hour, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the happy.
So after the shorts program, the women get together for cocktails, and they can stay to see the next women's show at 5:45. So you can come late for one and have cocktails, or early for the other and have cocktails.
Excellent.
Or have cocktails, go eat dinner on Brickell.
No, Amy.
get a room.
Amy, you're on the board. We have to
Right.
sell tickets. Remember that.
Buy your
Get a
tickets.
room.
Deborah and I
That's
used to
right.
go all the time
Okay.
to buy all these tickets.
And I program these movies without cocktails involved, and then they just work their way in there.
Then we gay them up for you, Joe.
So, Joe, that's the film program for Sunday, April 23rd. Your highlights for you are what?
Yeah, and you keep saying premiere, and I love to hear that word. But programmatically for us, we want to present the best films for our audience, and they happen to be North American premieres, so we're very excited about that. Big Boys is our youth spotlight. We've never, again, it's certainly an area that we've highlighted it, but it's never been a focus, and we're excited to work with Prism on creating this youth spotlight where, again, kids who may not feel comfortable, it's a safe space for them to come out and see a movie about them. We have some movies that are about youth but really aren't for youth, and this is really about youth and for youth. Big Boys.
Big Boys. Yeah.
Camping trip, a kid decides that he's infatuated with his cousin's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fascinating. In Bed is really...
Before you move on,
Sure.
There's nothing more topical in LGBTQ community in Miami-Dade County or in Florida than this youth conversation and the coming out experience. There's a whole cadre of people that say, nope, don't talk about it, pretend it doesn't exist. And OUTshine Film Festival is putting it front and center in the film.
Somebody said something like, don't say gay or something.
No names mentioned. That was good. I think we might know who that is. But yeah, again, it's important for us to create these safe spaces where, we're presenting films that we want audiences to see, yet they may not feel comfortable. And this is one of the areas where they're not. And we want to, again, provide a safe space for them. And a movie that sort of doesn't overwhelm them. It's in English. It's a really sort of easy to digest for them and to talk about and to sort of say these feelings that they might be having are feelings that are valid. So we're excited to be able to spotlight those.
Well, that's the first weekend, but there is one more thing, and I'm just really excited about it. One of the signature highlights of the OUTshine Film Festival 25th anniversary is going to move out of downtown Miami, and it's going to move over to the beach. And it's on Sunday, April 23rd, big signature event that will close the first weekend. It's at 7:30 p.m., and you are going to enjoy the ultimate open-air cinema experience in the heart of world-famous South Beach. You will get to enjoy skyline views from the top of Lincoln Road, and the film is perfect as you enjoy the history, the film, and the sexiness of South Beach with a 1990s vintage movie. I call it 1990s vintage, and that's The Birdcage. Perhaps the greatest drag-themed film in history. And this was all done, that film created and first seen in its premiere at a time of queer counterculture, Madonna, the White Party, Johnny Versace was partying on Lincoln Road, and much more. It's going to be at the Rooftop Cinema, and it will, as I said, be the vintage LGBTQ plus community's salute to the 25th anniversary of the celebration of the OUTshine Film Festival.
The brand new Rooftop Cinema.
Yeah, and let's, before we, well, no, let's talk about the film first. We've all seen The Birdcage. I've seen The Birdcage 20 times. I'm going to see it the 21st time. On that
You laugh just as hard every time,
There's
right?
just no way I would miss that.
And it's so quintessentially Miami. We looked for films. We went back and forth about what would really highlight our 25th year, and we looked at some films that we've done in the past that are award winners, but they didn't have that je ne sais quoi. Is that the right word? Je ne
sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. As this did. Again, quintessential Miami. People know the film, and the setting is just so fitting for a film like this. It's just such a fun, it's a beautiful night. We're very excited.
And there's something about doing an outdoor film. You know, I did during the emergence out of pandemic, the drive-in movie kind of launch of the OUTshine Film Festival, but this is not that. It's not a drive-in theater.
Yeah, overlooking Lincoln Road. I mean, how much better than that does it get? The water in the horizon. It's just a beautiful space. Yeah. And to see Robin Williams and Nathan Lane in such an amazing, funny movie that you laugh from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's not like bring your own lawn chair. It's a really elegant sort of updated.
I haven't seen it since the renovation. Tell me about.
It's not renovated. It's brand new. It's a brand new. No, it's a brand new rooftop cinema.
Walk us through it and tell us what we would expect there.
Well, it's on the rooftop and right across from the Regal. No,
in the name.
That's why I'm here.
In the name.
You bring me up for my intelligence, Al. Okay, it's on the rooftop right at Alton Road in Lincoln, and it overlooks the bay. It overlooks the Regal South Beach, and it's a great space with food and drinks. Both
lounges.
Things important. Chase lounges, a different experience and a unique way of watching film.
Will this be one of the most popular events of the OUTshine Film Festival, or is it just me?
I think
it's a one-off. We call it a one-off.
Yeah, we call it a one-off. It's something sort of ancillary to the events at the Silver Spot, and it's just, again, a community program that we felt really strongly to reach out to various members and to be on the beach for an event. So we're very excited, for a variety of reasons, but. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun, and it's something of all age. I mean, I think whether you're familiar with it or not, I think it just reads kind of fun. So I think we'll have a variety of a mixed age.
Yeah.
So. And there will be people that will be seeing it for the first time.
Oh my God.
There are young. You say everybody's seen it, but the younger generation.
Oh
You're right. Younger generations really probably have not. But although
they've heard of it.
It's funny. Big Boy is the student program with Max Fenning and Prism. I bet, and I do. It's happening out with Max. I bet he's probably never seen The Birdcage.
I wouldn't know, but it's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Al, I want to say one thing about this guy right to my left. Joe Bilancio is known as one of the best LGBTQ programmers in the world. I just got back from Berlin, and I talked to distributor and filmmaker after distributor and filmmaker, and his reputation precedes him. And we are getting these world premieres, these U.S. premieres, these East Coast premieres, whatever they are, because of his relationships with these distributors. And let me tell you, there's a lot of film festivals out there, and OUTshine is getting some of the greatest films available in the market.
Joe, I'm curious. How do you respond to that?
Am I on camera? Am I turning as red as Mark's shirt? No, it's very nice to hear, but again, I think it's, what does my audience appreciate? And I work hard to ensure that the audience does appreciate the things that they see. So,
in addition to you working hard, is it also a reflection of the strength of the South Florida LGBT market community?
Sure. Yeah. Which sometimes works to our disadvantage because they want a bigger premiere, or they want to wait to do a theatrical. So it's hard for me to convince them sometimes. So, and now what we're dealing with is the lack of venues, which is again important for us as a presenting organization to be able to present, because it's getting fewer and fewer opportunities to do so.
And OUTshine is the only festival in the world, hear this statement, OUTshine LGBTQ Film Festival is the only festival in the world to produce 2 complete festivals a year.
We're going to talk about that more extensively in just a bit.
Good.
All right. Well, The Birdcage. You for sure will hug at Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
Yes,
okay, next. We are over the pandemic. So, as you may not know, this is the largest LGBTQ plus film festival in the South, one of the largest in the world. You heard 80 some films just in this one, and we're going to talk about the second implementation in just a bit. But you can watch many of these films at home if you don't want to come to the theater, and we encourage you to do that because that's the best way to experience film. All you need to do is go to OUTshinefilm.com for all of the details of many of these films that you can screen in home.
Outshine at home.
Outshine at home. Thank you. And so our thoughts about seeing film on our couch or in our bed. Do we like it?
I have two thoughts. I'll start my director of programming hat
at one point.
Yeah, and it still is. It still is. There are people who it's not only pandemic. Some people are still leery of going out into public space or can't. It's physically difficult for them. So we're able and happy to present them. As you mentioned, I definitely prefer the experience of being in the theater, but it gives the opportunity, or as you said, people who just can't go to 80 movies, they can then see some at home. So it really does bridge the gap. And the thing we're doing new this year is that the Outshine at Home follows the regular festival. So starting April 31st, going to May 4th, that's when the Outshine at Home will be in existence. So again, you've kind of done your going out and seeing all your movies, and now you can sit at home.
Your first opportunity is in person, and then when the festival concludes in its closing night, then At Home begins. Oh, that's
I mean, you might have a situation where you want to see two things at the same time.
Yeah.
And which obviously you can't in the theater, so then you can see it later. And it's great for the people that are in Fort Lauderdale. Maybe they can't get down for every single night, and so then on those off nights they have that opportunity to watch it.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to say is so I have a fiance who seems to have an attention span of about I don't know. I don't even want to say how long, but he's younger, and the younger people, they tend to. They've been trained with TikTok and all this to have these short attention spans. It's almost nice when they sit in a theater, they give themselves permission to stay focused for the whole feature film. When you watch it at home, it's like, you go off to the bathroom, you go to, I'm like, okay, I'm stopping this until you come back. He's like, no, keep going.
Michael, but bringing a seatbelt for the seat was a little much.
Then he keeps asking you what happened in the time he was gone.
So I have my own of these jokes. We've all got these jokes. All right, well, good. So make sure you look that up, outshineathome.com. Good. All right. It's funny that we are one South Florida community. We're one. But the Outshine Film Festival is the only LGBT, it seems like I just heard this, the only LGBTQ plus film festival in the world that is held in two cities in two different times of the year. Well, this month, in April, we are in Miami-Dade County. But our brothers and sisters in Broward and Palm Beach County, they don't have to wait for October's Fort Lauderdale edition, because it'll come back, to have lots of film fun. Now, we joke, cross the border, get your passport stamped, and come to Miami in April. It's not that far. The queer Dade County can join us from that community in Fort Lauderdale in October's Outshine Film Festival. But let's talk about that a moment. It's in Miami-Dade County. It'll be downtown, this fabulous new theater. I know the queer community in Broward and Dade County are going to look at this theater and go, wait, I want to experience that in Miami. Amy said, I'm going to come down and stay for 10 days and play and frolic in downtown Miami, or whatever it is the girls do.
We frolic.
You frolic? Okay.
We'll have hotel specials
I do that.
for them.
Right, hotel specials. But let's talk about the idea. The festival has two cities in two times of the year. That's super interesting and unique. And the idea that while we talk about South Florida, we're not always as good on this subject as we think. And Outshine gives us an absolute implementation possibility to say, nope, we support Miami. Nope, we support Broward and Fort Lauderdale. Talk about that a moment for the Outshine Film Festival. Why do you do that? And why is that important to y'all?
We think that each community is individualistic, that each community deserves their own festival, and then we also believe that there's this crossover that loves LGBTQ film, and they're willing to, from Miami, go to Fort Lauderdale, or from Fort Lauderdale to go to Miami. And especially with the main events, the friends that they make over, the periods of time, they get to see them only at the festival sometime. And so you go to different events and you get to see your friends, whether it's Miami or Fort Lauderdale. And the films are different. And the construction of the films are different, and the way that we program. Joe is very illustrious in making sure that he picks the right films for each market. Miami being a more Latin American-centric area, and Fort Lauderdale having its own thing, don't show subtitles or whatever it may be, or less international, I think, than Miami. And so Joe tries to program like that. But for sure, the two festivals are geared to bring people together over and over again for Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Joe, I don't know if you figured this out, but let me help you with the math really quick. Because you all make the commitment to do 2 festivals, that means for 4 weekends a year, there's the OUTshine Film Festival going on. There's no film festival in the world that does that.
It means 48 weeks that he's buried in his house.
Yeah, you see the bags under the eyes. That's not just natural occurrence.
4 weekends a year.
Yep.
But it means greater value to our producer circle members.
Yeah.
Any member.
And to our members, yeah. And it's just something that, we take great pride in what we do. And, all of my colleagues and associates around the country sort of think we're crazy. And they say, well, but, we also do monthly screenings. It's like, and so do we. Yeah. And we also do special festivals. And so do we. So it's like we really are.
And we do at home.
It's a special event. And let's take one more minute in terms of, we make the jokes, get your passport stamped and go to Miami for the festival, you Wilton Manorers for you. But very, very specifically, the commitment of a cultural experience of the film festival. It's different than our bars, although there's bar features. We've talked about a lot of alcohol. Even the girls have talked a lot about alcohol. There's food, but this is something different. It's a cultural experience that we can celebrate the cultural interest that we have in art form, cultural art form. Say something about that commitment. Why is that message so important? To dedicate so much of y'all's time.
Al, at the end of the day, we get to see our story shared on the big screen. That's what we're about. We get to look and see 2 men or 2 women or a trans story, something about our lives, whether it's a rom-com, whether it's a drama, whatever. I mean, all kinds of stories. Just like we go to see straight movies, we want to see our lives represented. And there's something so special to sit in an auditorium filled with people like yourself, watching a movie about some aspect of your life. And over the course of 11 days, twice a year, there's a lot of films that cover almost everybody in our community. And that's what makes it special, experiencing those films on the big screen, sitting next to other people, sharing those emotions.
Yeah, and you can say a lot without saying a lot. I think culturally, we're a non-political organization. Obviously, we have some leanings, to help support other members of our community, but it's nice to sort of, I always say, we don't show political films. We make political statements by people going out and supporting us, and that alone is the statement, both political and culture. And for me, that's one of the reasons they do it.
Yeah, we're going to talk some more about that too. All right. As you can imagine, I bring Joe to, apparently he's never done any math because he's doing this over 4 weekends a year. No film festival I've ever heard of in my life does something like that, much less a gay film, LGBTQ film festival. It costs a lot of money to do this, and it doesn't come in your tickets. This is a very affordable experience to participate in the Miami edition of the OUTshine Film Festival. It is widely supported by sponsors. So let's take a moment to thank the sponsors that make this incredible 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival possible. That includes the presenting sponsor, which is Gilead and Miami-Dade County. And I love in the environment that we're in that Miami-Dade County is such an active supporter of this festival. The presenting media sponsor, who's that? Oh, yeah, Hot Spots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. And we're proud to support the OUTshine Film Festival. The premier sponsors include Comcast and the City of Miami Beach. The grand sponsors include the incredible Our Fund Foundation, for our community, and Google. And then you should go to OUTshineFilm.com. There are many other sponsors, both corporately and producer individual sponsors that help support this festival to make it possible so it is affordable for everyone. And that's one of the hallmarks of OUTshine. Sponsors, anybody want to mention anything about their sponsors?
Well, I want to say it's a great value. I mean, really to target the gay community, putting ads in the program guide that we're putting out. You can get your name up on the screen. There's a lot of opportunities as far as advertising and really good value.
Yeah, we love them all. We couldn't do the things without. We couldn't do it. Period. Or we, as you said, tickets would be $100 for a Sunday afternoon film. But I especially think the City of Miami Beach says a lot about them, because most of our events were forced to move off the beach. Yeah. And they're still supported us. So I think that says a lot about them and what they do.
Yeah. It put us in a tough situation. One of the things I want to say, and Amy, I wanted to talk to you about this real quickly, is we want the women so badly to come. We put on a beautiful brunch in Fort Lauderdale. We had, 60 women for a sold-out brunch, and then they came to the Shorts program right after.
Let's make sure we mention that was the Chef Josie event.
Yeah.
Bubbles and Pearls.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Active anchor at Corners tonight. We love that.
Yep. And so, talk to the women. Tell them how much fun they're going to have if they come, because we really want more women involved in our festival.
Yeah, and they always do have fun when they come. It's just getting them there. I don't know.
I'd love to see
I feel
women.
like more like a gay man than a lesbian. Anyway, I don't have kids. I don't have all those responsibilities that they have.
We're gonna add some comment about the women in just a minute. I'm going to talk about Fay. I want to move on out of sponsors.
Fay who?
Fay who? Oh wait, let's start that as a trend. Fay who? Hashtag Fay who? All right, got it.
She's not listening, is she?
That cold chill up my spine says she is. Okay. All right. Well, thank you to the sponsors of the OUTshine Film Festival. All right, we have talked about week 1. That's finished now, and I'm already exhausted. But thankfully, we are just getting started. And so we want to tell you about what's next. Week 2 of the OUTshine Film Festival is going to begin with cocktails and cinema. Now we have this bridge between the 2 weekends, and on Monday, April 24th to Wednesday, April 26th, there's going to be 10 more films that are paired, of course, let's make it even more fun, with cocktail social hours. And you get free drinks included with your ticket. All right, so the program for Cocktails and Cinema, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Cocktails and Cinema is a new program for us. We've always done these monthly events, and we started serving cocktails, and it sort of came to be Cocktails and Cinema.
We trademarked it, actually.
And we trademarked it, and it's been a wonderful thing we started to do. I'm very excited about this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because they're all local films, or they have reference to local artists. And it's important for us as a presenting organization, a community organization, to really support the filmmaking community. It's a small community to start with, filmmakers in general, and then you add in the fact gay and lesbian is even smaller.
Joe, I don't think our viewers understand yet. Explain to us what you mean in terms of the local focus.
So we're doing a series of South Florida shorts. So they're filmmakers, films made in or done by local South Florida filmmakers. Mm-hmm. And then we have a feature called Clocked by Noah Galvin, who did a film again here in Miami. It's very, you watch the film, it's in Miami. They talk about it being Miami. And then Kokomo City by D. Smith is a huge film getting rave reviews, Sundance hit. Who D. Smith happens to be a local transgender community filmmaker. So again, it was important for us to sort of highlight their works and allow not only their friends and family, but everybody to come and see them and realize that there is a strong filmmaking community here in South Florida.
And Joe, help audience understand You've referenced it several times. Sundance, Tribeca, others. Explain how important film festivals are.
Yeah, that's a way for films to sort of get buzz, and our festival as well. It's a way that filmmakers can sort of create buzz by getting their film seen by a few people and not a tremendous amount of people, because they may not be ready for that to happen yet. And I do reference Sundance, Tribeca, Mill Valley. There are a lot of big festivals, and I only say that because that's what people know. It doesn't really, to me, justify maybe prestige, but not necessarily quality. There are films in Sundance that I wouldn't consider very good, or certainly don't fit my audience. So I only reference those sort of as a point of reference or knowledge, that some of the films we have were in Sundance, and they happen to be very good.
So there's an enormous amount of connection that happens at these film festivals. So it can be connection that occurs between the filmmakers, everything that goes into getting these to the point that we can actually enjoy and watch them. All of these talented individuals. It's also connection. A lot of people meet future spouses at these festivals. So there's the social element. So there's the film side of it, but then there's just our general enjoyment of social connection.
Which is the cocktails and cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
so that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, cocktails and cinema. Now we move into the big weekend of the OUTshine Film Festival's 25th anniversary, and it begins Thursday, April 27th, and they are going to feature another major event called the Centerpiece Film and Party. It's at 7 p.m. at Silver Spot Cinema, and the movie's name, and I'm going to have you help me because I can't pronounce it.
La Immensita. I don't care if you can't pronounce it as long as you come see it.
I come and see it, exactly. Well, it's interesting. It's starring Penelope Cruz, and it focuses on Rome in the 1970s. I went the first time in 1978, so I'm going to have some nostalgia of the 1970s as the city is in transition. The story is about a 13-year-old Adriana who has begun to identify as a boy, Andrew. While Cruz absolutely shines in the role as Clara, it is the newcomer, Luana Giuliani, who commands the scene and the screen in this exuberant relationship story between mother and child, complete with a pop soundtrack and musical numbers. This will feature a film talent meet and greet after the film, bite bites, open bar, etc. Fabulous. Tell me about this event.
Yeah, it is fabulous. The event and the film, we're not against using names like Penelope Cruz, but the film beyond Penelope is fantastic. It's just, it shows, I think, a lot of the festival that we're using a trans-inclusive film as our centerpiece, and hopefully people will come and see it because it's delightful. We kind of call it our second opening night because it really is another way to sort of take a breath, as you said. First weekend is behind us. We're leading into the second weekend, and us and the audience can just kind of go, I'm getting ready again.
Yeah, it's the introduction to the second weekend, no doubt about it. Yeah. Centerpiece is always the film that we struggle the most with because we want programmatically, we want the film to represent not just fun, because a lot of times we want to sell tickets. It's one of the goals of any festival. And that's the struggle that a programmer and an executive director or board chair has to go through, because I want to sell tickets and make money for the festival. And the programmer wants to find the best films that represent the industry, etc. And so that's the struggle. We find that this is the spot where we find that great production value film that also will be an audience pleaser. And that's what this film brings.
When I was reading the details, of course, you had me at Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
But when you tease the soundtrack and musical numbers, define what that really means.
Yeah, it tells the story. I didn't want it to come right out and sound like it's a musical, or especially in the sense of we Americans sort of think of these Broadway musicals that have been filmed, and it's not really that. It's just they tell stories. There are three fabulous, fantastic numbers that you sort of have to pay attention to because not only are they beautiful visually, but they tell part of the story of what's going on in the movie.
They just break out into song.
They do. Again, two of those efforts are kind of like
our entire gay audience is now in.
They are in it, and beyond that, it's just such, as I said, it's a beautiful, delightful film.
What about the women? Are the women in?
I
In
was
other
just gonna
words,
say,
Women are in.
including the women.
are women into?
And
We all know Broadway
this is-
shows are loved by the gay men, but hopefully the women. I'd love
And
to
this
see a
is
lot
one of those
Set up
films
a
that
gay man.
that might read, and it's sometimes hard to write the descriptions to accurately portray what they're going to see. And there's a portion of the film that is sad, yet the film is not by any stretch. It's about overcoming your situation and sort of what life gives you and making the best of it. And it's hopefully that comes out, because that's really what the film's about. It's just it's so touching.
And let's take a moment to observe that. So, as Mark just said, this is such an important focus point in the festival, and you choose to do a story about trans. Why did you do that?
That I think that shows our importance we provide to all our communities, and it is easier. There are so many more films about gay men. Then not as many, but more films about the women's experience. There are so few good, quality, important films about the trans experience, and it's not only the coming out, although that's part of it. Andrew is transitioning. But it's more about how Andrew is accepted by the family and the community, and sort of the pressures put upon. And I think that it's important for people to see a variety of the experiences.
Not to get too political, Joe, but I'm curious. I'm a lead anchor at a news show for LGBT. How would big chunks of the community that we watch in Miami-Dade County, there's been some changes there, school boards, etc. How would they react to a film like this?
I think most of them would be delighted to learn more, and that, I think we're often seen not only as, the G and the L and the B, but the T is really sort of misunderstood. And I think that it's just, we're not these scary people, and trans people are just, they're your neighbors. They're many people's sons, many people's daughter. So I think it would enlighten them. And we'd love to say just, we always say to all of our communities, sort of take a chance. And it's almost a way to sort of say that to the general community, the non-GLBT community, of like, we're people like your people.
I think it's important to understand too that whenever you're talking about trans and you think that you just want to educate the straight community, the gay community, when I say gay, by the way, that encompasses all the letters that follow the G. So sometimes we, in the sake of expediency, we just say gay, but certainly that includes lesbians and bisexuals and transgenders, and I'm not going to go through the next 20 because I don't really know them. But, it includes everybody. And the purpose to put a film like that, and Joe was the one that fought for that, in our centerpiece can't be overstated.
Yeah. And just from I'm learning of this as I'm sitting in this announcement special. Several very important things come together for me. Your explanation of how important the centerpiece film is to the OUTshine Film Festival, the quality of the film, which is what you address, the idea of what we're facing in the trans community, and the rejection that we're seeing in evangelical and GOP by the governor of the state of Florida. But equally important in that conversation is the conversations that are going on that you read in the LGBT Reddits, in the subreddits, of going, wait, we probably should remove the T out of the LGBTQ community. This film challenges that conversation. And among the top conversations we're having is how gay men respond to the trans community and how lesbian women respond to the trans community. So incredibly topical, which I now understand why it's the centerpiece film. Good job, guys. Good job. The final weekend of the 25th anniversary of OUTshine Film Festival launches Friday, April 28th, and the big weekend begins. Your weekend is going to feature at 7 p.m. The Lord of the Ants, at 7:15, Girls Don't Cry, at 9:15, Las Vegas, and that's going to be the North American premiere of this film, and then at 9:30, now I have to pronounce carefully, Porno Melancholia. Did I do it okay?
You did that very well. I think porno was the emphasis there.
I think I
Not so
emphasized
sure.
that portion of the word. Probably shouldn't have, but I did anyway. Joe, tell us about the launch.
Yeah, and we'll start with Porno Melancholia. I was saying that perfectly until just now.
Okay.
Because it is more than porno. It's about a guy who does get involved in porn, and yet how it affects his life. And it's just the, sort of the debate he has within himself as to who he is and how porn defines who he is or doesn't define who he is. And it's fantastic. It's one of our Spanish films that I'm very proud of. Lord of the Ants is phenomenal. It talks about a relationship between a gentleman and a younger man, but not younger man, and I think American audiences might have questions or concerns, but I wanted to assure people that it's not at all what it sounds. And again, it's a beautiful film about two people who love each other and amongst all bonds. But it's just a really unique. I love the way, again, those 4 films sort of play off each other, and there is really something for everyone on that night. And I always call like our Fridays and Saturdays date night, and it's a great night to sort of somebody date your husband or wife, or date somebody who you might be on a first date with. But to me, it's always a Friday, Saturday.
Find somebody in Grindr and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I have tickets.
What's Grindr?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
An advertiser.
An advertiser, right. I'm curious about what you said in terms of Spanish language film and in general. An LGBT film festival embraces language films as much as they do English spoken word films. Sure. Is that, do you find in the film festival circuit, is that unusual that LGBT does it more, or it's?
I think we do tend to be more inclusive, and I think the bigger the festival is, the more space they have, the more representative countries they're able to sort of expand upon. And obviously for us, because of where we are, Spanish language here is much more important than it might be in another festival. But I don't want to say I'm we program blind in the sense that I don't pay attention to that, but I try and just find the best films that make sense for our audience. Yeah. And especially in Miami, they tend to be much more aligned with Spanish and Portuguese and languages in general, where some festivals don't really.
But I think it's critical to watch LGBTQ film from all over the world, because sometimes we forget, like being in Miami or South Florida, we just think of it as, oh my God, it's so easy to be gay. But whether it's just even going into Georgia, Mississippi, or Alabama, et cetera, or whether it's going to Albania or any European or Asian country, LGBTQ is very different all over the world, but yet the stories somehow can remain the same. Love is love. It doesn't matter where you are. Comedy is comedy. And we have had films from all over the world. Joe does an amazing job of finding. When I go to Berlin, I meet literally with every single country in the festival and try to find out what they're shooting, what's in production, and so that we can get those films, because I think it's important for us to share stories, not just from here, but from everywhere.
Yeah, interesting. So that's your Friday night, April 28th. Well, the biggest day of the OUTshine Film Festival is Saturday, April 29th. So many films will be presented, including the features at 3 p.m. of 1946, The Mistranslation That Shifted Culture. At 3:15 p.m., The Chambermaid. At 5:30 p.m., Desperate Souls, Dark City, and the Legend of Midnight Cowboy. Then at 7:30 p.m., help me, Eismeyer? Eismeyer, thank you.
Wow, what a movie.
And 9 p.m., The Jessica Cabin. And then at 9:15 p.m., Lie With Me. That is Saturday night, April 29th, and it's a big day. What should we be expecting there?
It is a big day. They're all big days, but this last Saturday.
Is this your favorite day?
This is my favorite day in the festival. No, and again, it's the variety. 1946 takes a long trope, the discussion of the Bible and where gays and lesbians fit, or more importantly, don't fit, and how there might be a mistranslation that really misconstrued everything. And people from Yale, so you can trust them.
So it's a documentary.
And it's just fabulous. I love the fact that it really presents information and sort of makes you sort of conjure up your own thoughts. You mentioned Eismeyer, which is, again, to simplify, we'll call it Gays in the Military, but it's much more. It's a romance. It's just a very visceral powerful film, and beautiful as it is, difficult. It's very gritty, it's very raw, yet it's really sort of stunning the way it evolves and envelops you. And
second kind of military film that we've shown in the last few months with that same hardcore theme of serving in the military and yet being who you are.
Yeah,
I'm curious with Saturday. The Saturday, April 29th, having so much availability and choice, or for viewers, we're just doing this as an announcement broadcast. If they want to learn more about the films and the detail, how much information is available to them?
Typically on the website, everything, not only the synopsis that we create, but they can go to a web page, they can find a trailer, they can find other places that the film has been in, and other festivals, awards. We try and really give people the option to sort of not only listen to what we tell them, but have the ability to sort of do more research on their own in case they're interested.
The trailers for all these movies are on the website, Al.
Yeah, so you're very intentioned in terms of trying to provide as much information as possible of all of the films that are participating at the festival.
Yeah, it's a really difficult proposition to sort of, we want to sell tickets, obviously, so we want them to sound interesting and exciting, which I think they all are, of course, but you also want to not oversell, or you want people to expect what they're getting. So not only is it important for us to sort of tell them, again, what we're going to tell them, but have other options for them to find more information.
I have to tell you, just a personal story from my standpoint. My expectation, the first time I went to OUTshine, the first year that I went to OUTshine, I think I went to one film, and it was okay. And I really didn't do much more. And then the next year, I had a very I've never been to the Miami Festival, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But the next year, I made an intentioned decision to do more films. I don't know why I say, swallow the pill a little harder. But one of the best LGBT film experiences I have ever had was delivered by the OUTshine Film Festival. I went to Firebird, and I watched that film, and I walked away, and I told all of my friends, my goodness, you must pay attention to what OUTshine is doing, because for them to find a film like Firebird and it be so good, the quality of the film and the quality of the story and the politics of what was going on in Russia, etc., was so great. And everybody says, oh, you don't need to go to an LGBT film festival. You can just watch Netflix. Mm-hmm. No, you can't.
We presented that film again at the University of Miami at the Cosford Theater. And I got in touch with the filmmaker who got in touch with one of the stars who was from Ukraine when the war started. And he actually did a recording for us, thanking us for the film and telling us what's going on in Ukraine as far as the LGBTQ experience. And we were able to present that at the screening at the Cosford. And that was amazing. People were in tears watching that. And that's the stuff you only see at something like the OUTshine Film Festival.
And to that point, just to make sure that that point is illustrated and accurate, that's not a marketing statement. At Queer News Tonight, we're reporting news every single day. And about 7 months later, after the October OUTshine Film Festival, where I saw Firebird, I read a story in one of the aggregate sites that The Advocate was doing and said, oh, you must watch this interesting film, Firebird. And I forget if they were referencing HBO or Netflix, but HBO or Netflix was showing Firebird 7 months later, and Advocate thought that was news. And I thought to myself, yeah, I saw that film 7 months ago at the OUTshine Film Festival. And to me, I tell that story because one of the exciting things about what's getting ready to happen in Miami, we're talking about Saturday night, we don't know where the Firebird is yet, but it's coming.
Right. That's a great point that you make. And out of the 60 movies or 80 movies, whatever it is, depending on the festival, that we will show, most of those will never see the light of day again. Some will go out on DVD. Some may make it to Netflix or Amazon or some of the other pay-per-view channels. But so many of the really great ones will never really see the light of day again. So by coming to the festival and not, like you found out, come and see not just one movie, because sometimes it is hit or miss, and not every film is everybody's cup of tea. One person loves it, another person doesn't. But by coming to the festival and seeing film after film, you're going to see films that blow you away.
Plus, by coming to the festival to see Firebird, you saw these extremely handsome men that were the stars of the movie.
Oh wait, they were
there.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you got to meet them.
So shallow, Michael. That's so shallow.
Oh wait, there was also
No, but they were talented too.
Yeah, they were.
Anyway, it's just amazing that you got to get pictures with them, talk to them, hear about.
Even Amy liked them.
Well, that's what I was going to say about all of the movies with the film festival. And, a lot of people are like, how do we get women to come and how do we get lesbians to come? I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is reaching out to the lesbians and the women out there, just come to the movies.
Yeah, give it a try.
I love every movie.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I grew up
Like,
with
don't do
sisters.
one movie
I love the
and give
women.
up.
I love to see women at these events.
And I prefer the
I
male
gravitate
movies,
towards
actually.
Speaking of one of the categories that we're interested in attracting to the OUTshine Film Festival, the Latina community gets to move front and center on Saturday, April 29th with the Spanish Shorts program. Now, there are other Spanish language films through the 2 weeks of the festival, but this is a special shorts program in Spanish, and it's going to start at 5 p.m. and there will be 6 films in just 96 minutes. It's a great taste opportunity for you in Spanish language. Happening Out Television Network's host Fay What is going to be in bed this month with Queer News Tonight anchor and OUTshine board member Dino Mascara. And they're going to do a special interview at the Fay What Show in Spanglish. And it's going to be a nod of respect to the Spanish-speaking film enthusiast. And I can't wait to not understand what they say. I generally don't understand anything.
Our research shows, we conducted extensive research, and we found out that in Miami, there are a lot of Latins.
Your marketing dollars were well spent, Mark.
Thank you.
That's Mark with a checklist.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's why you have an interim executive director. All right, so tell me about the Spanish films, not only for the short program, but dedication to the festival.
Yeah, we oddly either never or a long time since we've done a Spanish shorts, and it was just, to me, it's where the unique, creative, and interesting shorts are being done. That's not to say things aren't being done in other parts of the country, but just the majority as I looked at them were really fascinating. They told wonderful stories, they were well told, they were well made, and it made sense. The rest of the Spanish, I also want to say that I don't think people realize that we can only program what's available. And this year there weren't a lot of, I would say normally we look at 20, 30 Spanish language shorts, Spanish language features. And we didn't have as many to look at. So we were able to, using my context, we were able to uncover, to have the wonderful lineup that we have. But, I think people always expect that they are aware of a film and that it's automatically going to be in our festival. And there are some difficulties, especially when you reach these niche audiences, that they're sometimes hard. But I like the fact that they're well-told stories. There isn't necessarily one genre. We have a romantic film. We have sort of a Latinx trans film. So it's really, it sort of takes what's going on in the world in other parts of the community and puts them into a Spanish language
Is there
diaspora.
Programming like in the Spanish language films, Spanish short program feature that you're doing? Is there different decision making that goes into the Miami Festival versus the Fort Lauderdale Festival?
There is. In general, and I hate to generalize, but I'll do that just sort of for contextual knowledge, that
You're going to talk about an older white guy, aren't you?
I'm specifically not going to talk about the older white guy, because we talk to the older white guy way too often.
Boy, am I glad the camera stays over there, I'll tell you that.
So this is a good
This
is a good correlation to that, is the fact that Miami does have a very large population of Spanish-speaking, Portuguese-speaking, English speaking. And so we definitely look at that a little differently. While they exist to a point in Fort Lauderdale, Broward, they tend to appreciate more of the, I'll call them American language or American independence. But again, they still come out to support us and both categories. But yeah, Miami definitely has a bigger audience and a more appreciative audience. And, you know, we might show something because it's Spanish that might not otherwise make the lineup. And again, I don't like to do that, but it makes sense because that's a need we have.
Yeah.
So,
and for older, whiter, more English speaking Broward County, they're still going to find lots and lots and lots of interesting things at the film festival.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
excellent. All right, another primary area comes front and center, and that is women. Women are front and center at OUTshine's 25th anniversary at the Ladies Spotlight Film and Party on Saturday, April 29th. It's going to be at 7:15. The film is called Love Proof. This very charming film is about a divorce settlement that elegantly mixes, at times, very dark humor with warm and melancholy, and has great, rich character portrayals by an all-star and fantastic cast. The special women's event features like bites, food, open bar, and a lot of fun. And the Ladies Spotlight Film and Party is Saturday, April 29th. So tell us about that film.
Yeah, I love this, and again, I love all of our films, but this especially, it's sort of, it's, I can't say that, it's like your favorite child. I have one, but I would never say. It's a film that everybody would like. And again, we sort of pigeonhole often into genders, like it's a female film, it's a male film. But this really is, it's a thriller, it's a suspense, neither very scary or very suspenseful, but for kind of, you know, terminology, we'll call it a thriller suspense. So it isn't something that might typically be thought of as a gay and lesbian, but the main characters are lesbian, and it just really, again, tells their story and many twists and turns. But it's a really sort of fun, a film that would be good to sort of have a party related to. So,
you know, one of the things that I want to ask you all about in terms of the programming and the festival itself, I can feel a little bit in our conversation tonight about the festival that we don't want to develop these buckets or these silos too much. My reaction is, well, wait, why not? Because there's no problem with that. We're the LGBTQ plus community for a reason. And if women are interested in lesbian film, they should have that. If trans are interested in trans film, they first and foremost should have
we
that.
should all enjoy each other's films.
And exactly. And then all of our choices allow us to follow that. But first and foremost, we're giving respect to the different silos in our community. Why?
This year, I just want to say this year, one of our board members, my board wife, beside Amy McGrotty, is my dear, lovely friend Jennifer Chris, who's done the most amazing job putting together a women's committee and working with Joe tirelessly to pick the right film for the Women's Spotlight. She is so excited about this movie, and of course she'll be there with her beautiful model actress girlfriend, Patricia Velasquez, who is so talented and such a good friend of our festival, received our award. Of course, we did Liz in September, her film some years back for Women's Night with about 200 women at that event. So we do know we can get the women out, and it doesn't have to be just when Patricia's going to be there, but we want to make sure that we get that kind of showing for all of our movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, it's less about, we do a good job of creating these, as you call them, silos of women's films, trans films. I want people to not feel uncomfortable going out of their own silo. Right. So it's not attracting more, it is attracting more women to women's film, but it's also attracting men to women's films. It's attracting men and women to trans films. It's sort of trying to breach so many of our films are so good that it's just like, I want an audience to see it regardless of who that audience is. The three trans films we have are fantastic, and to me, people need to see them.
Amy,
male, female, trans, non-trans.
Amy, the after party, what's it like for you going to the Women's Spotlight Party? I'm kind of curious for your take on it.
I love it as long as there's dancers.
Meaning girl.
Meaning you or
Girl dancer.
Okay.
Not you, Al. Not
All right,
you.
I was going to say, I love dancing. But apparently that's not what you
That's
meant.
not the.
But we do
yeah.
get a lot of women to the party, and it's a great social few hours for the women to come out. And
All
get
right.
together.
Well, it's a signature event in the program, the Ladies Spotlight Film and Party, Saturday, April 29th at 7:15.
I can tell you one thing about the Women's Spotlight Party is I met my wife at one of those
Oh,
after
well,
parties
there you
20
go.
years ago.
Yeah.
So.
That was the lead next time. Amy.
Yeah.
Is that-
Is that called burying the lead? And yeah.
Okay. Sunday, April 30th is your final opportunity to celebrate queer film at the final day of the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival. It starts at 1 p.m. and it begins with the film called Hilma. Did I pronounce that right? Hilma. And then at 3:15 p.m., Something You Said Last Night. God, have I lived that experience. And that is the East Coast premiere. Sunday afternoon, a little sad for you because it's closing.
Yeah, I know. You said, did you see me tear up a little? It's
Bittersweet,
like,
bittersweet.
It is bittersweet. It's like we hadn't even started yet, but I'm crying because it's over.
Yeah.
So it's a whirlwind.
The two films, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'll say this word, and anyone who's a cinephile or even probably fairly well known, knows about cinema. Lasse Hallström did The Cider House Rules, some very big films that many of us have seen. He did Hilma. It's a biopic on it's a beautiful story on a little known yet probably the person who invented abstract art well before we sort of knew what that was. And again, a love story. Just delightful. And then a trans film that I think everybody would enjoy. We have many films that you always say a trans film, and I think people sort of revert to the fact that it's going to be this coming out story or about their transition, and they're not often fully realized characters, and this really is. It's just a person who is going through a transition, but has sort of gone through the transition, is now moving on with the rest of their life. And it's more, it's a dysfunction story, but it's the family dysfunction. It's not really related to the trans character and dysfunction.
And I always say that the trans experience today is the gay experience of yesterday. We had it easy, compared to the trans coming out. We could still hide when we were younger. Those of us that came out 70s, 80s, 90s, we didn't have to just be broadcasting who we are. But this is the story of the new gay experience, and they can't hide because it's evident who they are. And if they want to live their lives the way the films show they live their lives.
And I always say it's the end, but it's this could be a first experience for somebody. So please come out.
I've learned so much
film that you
watching
enjoy.
trans films
Come
that
on
I would have never known without seeing them.
Yeah. It's the genius of the OUTshine Film Festival. Make sure you don't miss that. This special edition of Queer News Tonight is broadcasting at the Happening Out television studios right now on the campus of Sunshine Cathedral. This is the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Sunshine is proud to join in the celebration of this historic milestone of the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival.
It's Rachel Maddow in Sunshine Cathedral. That is my queer church.
We loved that moment at the Sunshine Film Festival. All right, well, it's finally here. The long-awaited closing night film party and awards. It's going to be Sunday, April 30th at 6 p.m., and you're going to enjoy a film entitled 3 Nights a Week. I try so hard to. Maybe that's not what it's about.
No,
that's not
that's
what
okay.
It's about. It's a story, I kind of do know, a story about Baptiste's first meeting with drag performer Cookie Cunty. By the way, that's with a K. Director Florent Guilou takes Baptiste and viewers on a deep dive into the world of drag performance and gay culture, depicted with loving and joyous accuracy thanks to the contributions, ready for this, of more than 40 French drag artists at work, both in front of and behind the cameras. In the world we are living with our Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Our House, Hyatt Regency Miami, Don't Say Gay, and the issue about drag queens, this closing night promises to be one you will never forget. Light bites and an open bar are featured along with an awards party and celebration. Closing night party. First, tell us about this film.
Yeah, it's delightful. It really does look at drag and drag culture, much more of an art form or an experience. People who might be differential to drag, I don't want them to be scared away because it's such an integral part of the film. Yet it is about much more than just simply drag, and it's just such a wonderful way. You know, we always talk about our major events, and it's sort of a wonderful way to just sort of close, decompress, have a good time, and be able to go and enjoy some drinks and a party. So it's wonderful, and you can tell sort of the love that the director has for the art form, and it's evident in every frame of the.
It's as much about a straight character who, well, turns out not to be straight, let's just say, but we don't want to give the movie away either. Okay. Did I just give the movie away a little bit? Okay. Yeah. So just ignore that part. But it's as much about him and his reaction to the community, and then his love of the community and how it caught him totally off guard.
Yeah.
I'm curious to was there any concerns in the programming choice? I mean, this is the Klee Light moment of the closing of the festival. Was there any concern about doing a film that had as a principal theme about drag queens? Did that even cross your mind?
Not even.
Well, maybe it was a little the other way, kind of a statement without really making a statement. I think those who understand the situation might perceive it as a statement. Those who don't get it anyway. So I never. Yeah, no, I never.
But it's interesting because even the theater had an opinion, and even the theater was clear that they're concerned that the climate of today and having drag queens in a public theater, that they could be photographed with somebody coming to a different movie and they stop for 1 second. They wanted to make sure that they didn't put themselves in that kind of situation, being very respectful to us, by the way.
The theater resolve and OUTshine Film Festival resolve that. That's news, by the way. How did you resolve that?
Yeah, and I want to be clear about it. It wasn't from any malice that the theater was saying that. The theater was just making a point that, you know, they could jeopardize their liquor license if the wrong picture is taken at the wrong moment. And that's the scary climate that we live in. And I think that's the brilliance of having a film like this and the importance of having a film like this, because it is part of our community. And these are people within our community, and they straight, gay, they're loved by so many. And with what's going on here in Florida right now, it's absolutely frightening what's going on with the drag queens in the community and the loss of a liquor license for a place like the Hyatt, or what's going on with O House in Wynwood, or a variety of other places, and it's picking up steam, not losing steam.
So it sounds like a brilliant choice for film for your closing night. And tell me a little bit about the party aspect. I went last year. And the awards. Talk a moment about the awards.
I think the awards are the fun part of the whole event. We get filmmakers in attendance, you know, to watch their films, or they'll come and do a live interview with us on Skype. But we give awards for the best film. Well, we have jury award for best audio, best feature, best documentary, and best short. And then we have audience favorite, which everybody votes on. So your votes matter in the contest. And we give awards for best filmmaker, best film, and that's best runner-up, right? For both the documentary, shorts, and feature.
Yeah, it's important for us to recognize the work that helps
It's a
us
lot of
do what
fun
we
too.
do.
We show the trailers, the acceptance speeches, the awards are given out, and the food is good. And this thing called cocktails comes up once again.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about alcohol tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a gay thing or a film thing.
Yeah.
It's a film thing.
it's a both.
It's a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not all that into it.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have a drink, by the
Well,
way?
it's good in a film too. It's an experience.
an experience, exactly.
Yeah, good.
Experience.
Great word. All right, well, that is the exclusive announcement of the 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival. Ticketing has just opened, and you want to go to outshinefilm.com and be the first to get your tickets. Several of those tickets in this incredible venue of Silver Spot are going to just be snapped up. Don't miss out on the opportunity. As we told you, this is the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. And we do, time to time, special programs like this one tonight for the anniversary of the 25th of OUTshine Film Festival. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple Television, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV? Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. And we need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And I just blew a dog whistle because motion and sound is what LGBTQ plus movies are all about. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight, and why we support this exclusive announcement of this historic 25th anniversary of the OUTshine Film Festival. A final thought. Protest, march, and LGBTQ plus activism come in so many forms and in so many different ways. We are living and watching a time of the greatest number of attacks on our LGBTQ plus community of any time in this 21st century. OUTshine is an important and impressive measure for that LGBTQ plus activism. Queer film tells our LGBTQ plus story. You get to sit in the dark with loved ones, with strangers, with Black people and brown and lesbian and trans and allies, all saying in one single voice, through this film, we will not be erased. We hope you stand with the OUTshine Film Festival. Show up, support up, voice up. It's so important. And from our hosts tonight, Mark Gilbert, Joe Bilancio, Amy McGrotty, and Michael Schneider, we will see you all at the queer movies. Good night. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.